Hey folks, so here's another video on some advice to help make your transition to your first year of college at UVA a little bit easier. With move-in day coming up so soon, you guys have already probably started buying things for your dorm room and you already know where you're living by now. But something I found when I ended up moving to my first year was that I really brought more than I should have. I wanted to give some tips on what you should and shouldn't bring to college. Now, the things that I have on this list you may or may not agree with, but these are things that I've experienced from my first year of college. Here are 7 things you should and shouldn't bring to UVA. Alright, number 1, fridge and microwave. What my roommate and I did was that we split up who was bringing the fridge and who was bringing the microwave, but I really did find that it was helpful to have these 2 items. I know a lot of people in my hall didn't have these items, but if you ended up getting microwavable foods, it was easier to just like microwave it while you were studying, or if you got something from the dining hall and you wanted to reheat it up for later, it's really just convenient to have a microwave. And as far as fridges go, like if you have microwavable food, you might want to store it in the fridge, or it's just like another place to keep your drinks cold. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but I was really happy that I had those 2 items. One thing that I really wasn't sure about whether or not I should bring a printer. UVA does have printers on campuses, especially in the larger libraries. However, you do have to pay per page. And if you have an assignment due the next day or like the morning of and it's nighttime and you're in your dorm room, I found it really convenient to just have my printer on hand so I don't have to worry about having the money to pay for each thing I wanted to print. And I ended up printing a lot more than I originally thought I would have. For example, in my chemistry class, my professor wouldn't upload his PowerPoints until late at night, the night before a class. It was really convenient for me to wake up in the morning, print the PowerPoint slides, stick them in a binder, and then head to class. I don't think I would be able to wake up early enough to hit the library and then go all the way to class, especially when it's out of your way. Number 3, a water bottle. I feel like this is pretty self-explanatory. And they have water filling stations all around campus. Yeah, when you're studying, drink some water. Number 4, an electric kettle and mugs. One thing my roommate and I really liked doing at the beginning of the year is that we would host tea parties in our dorm, and it was a good way to get to know people. Not saying that that's necessarily for everyone, but it was nice having an electric kettle so that you could just make coffee or make tea when it's late at night and you're studying in your dorm, or you want to make a cup of coffee or tea in the morning before you head to class. Since I lived in a new dorm with carpet, I found it very handy to have a vacuum cleaner. Except we purchased a hand vac, which is actually on my list of what not to bring. But I feel like it really would have been helpful to have an actual vacuum cleaner because the floors do end up getting gross, and when you're snacking around, crumbs do tend to fall and then your hair just gets everywhere. And I'm just one of those clean freaks who just like really needs to be in a clean room to like have a peace of mind. So yeah, having a vacuum would help if you're similar to me. Number 6, especially for those cold winter months, it's really comfy and handy to have a throw blanket. Thankfully, in new dorms, I was able to study a lot in the study lounges, especially during the colder months when I just didn't feel like leaving the dorm. And it's just nice to snuggle up in a blanket when you're in a study room and get comfy while you're studying for hours and hours and hours. Or you could also bring your blanket to the libraries. I mean, like, I won't judge you, and I've done this multiple times. And if you see a girl this upcoming year studying in the library with a blanket wrapped around her, that's probably me. My last what to bring advice would be to bring some medicine like ibuprofen or Benadryl. I brought everything. Right when you go into college, you're surrounded by a bunch of different people in a very germy place. People are touching your doorknobs, just touching everything, and everyone gets sick very quickly. It's literally known as the first year plague. So it's just really something handy to have so you can just be prepared in those situations, because when you do end up getting sick, you don't feel like making the trek all the way to CVS or taking the trolley all the way there. You just kind of want to lay in bed, have some soup, and get better as quickly as you can. Alright, so now those were the things that I believe that you should bring to college, so now on to the things that I really regret bringing. I know this is super cliche and you'll probably see it on every college advice video, but please do not bring all of your clothes. First of all, you only have a limited amount of space to even put your clothes in these places, and a big mistake I did was bring almost all of my summer clothes, but really it's only hot for like the first month and then it turns into fall. And especially if you're like me and you already live in Virginia, it's not that hard to go home and switch out the clothes that you want to bring for like a different season and then just come back to school and switch those out. Number 2, a desk lamp. I know this is especially true for new dorms desks. I'm not really sure if it's like this for old dorms desks as well, but the desks already come in with a built-in light, so you don't even really end up needing to use a desk lamp if you end up studying at your desk. And especially if you're like me, I ended up going to the library a lot to study, so I didn't even really use my desk. However, on the flip side, one of those clip-on lamps that you can attach to your bed are actually pretty useful. Another thing I ended up bringing, which I didn't need to have, was a trash can. I didn't realize that the dorms actually come with trash cans, and I didn't have much trash to begin with, so one was really more than enough. Number 4, a Brita pitcher. And the dorms come with a water fountain that you can just fill your water with, and they're all filtered and everything, so it's kind of really pointless to have a Brita filter. But if you like really like the taste of the filtered water through a Brita, like, go for it. Number 5, I already mentioned this already, but a hand vac is just not very useful to have, and the battery power does not last that long. So if you're actually going to buy a vacuum, you might as well splurge a bit for an actual vacuum rather than a hand vac. Number 6. This goes more for school supplies. I ended up buying a ton of binders because those were what I used in high school, so I thought I'd be printing out things and putting them in a binder in college. But in reality, I just ended up using only notebooks. The only class I really used a binder for was my chemistry class, and that was because I would print out the PowerPoint slides the morning of or the night before and stick them in the binder and then write on the slides. For most of my classes, I ended up just writing in the notes section if the professor uploaded the PowerPoint online, or just taking notes by hand. So binders are just not necessary. It's just really not that necessary to bring pleasure books. I think people end up thinking they have a lot more free time than they actually do, but when you do end up having free time, it was a rare occurrence to actually see or hear about someone reading pleasure books that they brought to college. And honestly, it just ends up taking space in your car and it's heavy, so I would just ditch those books for now. Trust me, you're going to be doing a ton of other reading. Alright, so those were my tips. If you agree or disagree or think of any other things that you could or should bring to college, just like comment below or something. And if you have any requests for more videos, let me know. Alright, so I hope buying everything for your dorm is really exciting. I hope you get everything you need for your dorm, and I hope you have a successful move-in day. So good luck, and hopefully you have a great first year.